Imagine turning a moment of personal failure into a detailed essay about responsibility, hoping it will change your path. This hearing centers on a participant's journey through a recovery court program, where accountability is measured not just by abstaining from substances, but by how one builds a trustworthy life. The court is reviewing progress and compliance within the Otsego County Recovery Court program.
I think you submitted to me an essay for your last sanction that you
Yes.
had. Have you read that to the group yet?
No.
Would you? Do you have that with you?
I do.
Would you read that for them, please?
Sure. In light of my sanction for my late call-in for testing, I reviewed my accountability or lack of for this action to understand the seriousness and importance of it for this program in all elements of my life. By definition, accountability is the quality or state of being accountable, especially an obligation or willingness to accept responsibility or to account for your actions. My acceptance into the sobriety court program is based on meeting all of the requirements of the program. I need to hold myself accountable by being responsible to achieving these requirements on a daily basis. My actions are a direct reflection of me holding myself accountable for achieving my responsibilities and obligations in the program. Being accountable is synonymous with being responsible, honest with myself, and being trustworthy. These are all excellent traits to have, whether it is in relationships, the workplace, or in business. If you are viewed by others as being accountable to yourself, then you are often viewed as being responsible, trustworthy, and dependable. In business or my line of work, these are essential traits to be an owner or a manager. Employees, suppliers, customers rely on you to be accountable and responsible. In this program, I would view my accountability as something that builds trust in the team overseeing my participants as well as my fellow participants. Preparation is key to being accountable. If I had taken a moment to verify I had called in that morning, holding myself accountable, then this would not have happened. I now take this action before I leave the test, and I always test before 7:30 a.m. This allows me to verify I called in and gives me an extra hour to test if anything comes up.
Thank you. That was well written. As a businessman, if someone were to come to you and say, same thing happened today that happened 2 weeks ago, that happened a month before that, and happened a month before that, and it caused me to be late.
I would tell them that we rely on you as an employee, and when you're not here, we got to ask your fellow employees to pick up the slack because you're not here to do your responsibilities. And as that continues to happen, it becomes a problem to run the business. And the way we fix problems is, we get responsible people to do what they're supposed to be doing, which would be a clear indication that either fix it or I'll fix it. And me fixing it was I'll probably replace you.
And on the other hand, if you had someone who you never had to ask where they were or what they were doing because you always knew that they were doing the right thing at the right time for the right reason, how much different do you see those two people, the person that you never have to ask where the right place at the right time?
Significantly, because I can trust that the person that's always doing what they should be doing, the work they're running in a particular machine, I know it's going to get done. I'm quoting new customers. So I can rely on delivery times because I know the work's getting done in the time fashion it was quoted. That person is much more dependable. I don't second guess or have to follow up repeatedly to make sure things are getting done.
Your stress level as a supervisor is nil with that guy in the right place at the right time. Like you don't even have to think about him. You don't worry about him at all. You assume that he's going to do the right thing.
Right.
And every time he does. Isn't that a great way to run a business?
Yeah.
I hire good people. I let them do their jobs. Right?
I've always subscribed to the principle that hire the best people around you, even better than yourself, because that's going to make your life easier.
And that is what we're asking all of you to become. That person that nobody has to even worry about. Nobody has to even think about because we just assume, we know that you're going to be at the right place at the right time, doing the right thing for the right reason. That's it. And isn't that the person that you want to be? Isn't that you want everybody to rely on you as a dad, as a mom, as a brother, as a sister, as a person that's in a family, in a job. You want to be that person. Right? That's what we're asking you to aspire to be. Get rid of whatever is holding you back from being that person. So you wrote me a letter asking to phase up, and like your essay, I was impressed by the way that you did it. It was well written. Not that I liked your handwriting, but the thoughts were good. You've organized it well. You told me about the stabilization process of phase 2, and how you've done that. Things that you've eliminated, like longtime friends from your life that were kind of dragging you down and the substance abuse area. They weren't willing to give it up, and they were holding you back. And that's a hard decision, but it tells me that you're on the right track. You're putting your priorities first. I thought that was really, really good. So, so I have a certificate of completion for you. It says that Terrence wrote on this date of March 24th, because we went back to the date that you asked for it, for achieving the necessary requirements and successfully completing phase 2 of the Otsego County Recovery Court Program, hereby receive this certificate of completion. Well done.
Thank you.
Mr. Locker. Morning.
Morning, Your Honor.
Tell me some statistics.
I have 217 days in sobriety court, 216 days of sobriety in sobriety court, 92 days in phase 2, 311 days of personal sobriety. I just got my 10-month coin
Awesome.
last week, about a week ago.
Good deal.
And 68 meetings, and I counsel with Jeanette Sayers.
How do you like that?
I like it. With Jeanette?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a good person.
She will talk your ear off.
Yeah. She always.
But in a good way, right?
Yeah.
Talking about the good things, the energy that she has is just amazing.
Mhm.
Good. And I hear that things are going really well in your family right now. Tell me about that.
Well, the last hearing with my son that's in foster care, living with his grandma, I found out that as long as everything continues to be going well, that he should be able to come home after the school year and
That's
baseball
awesome.
season's over.
Yeah.
So him and I are both excited about that. He came up for spring break, unsupervised, which was great. It was just him and I.
Nice.
Playing catch out on the street again and stuff at home was just amazing. It was so much fun. I was a little sore afterwards, but I always forget. I'm like, why am I so sore? And then I remember, oh, I played catch.
Yeah.
But yeah, I went to the movies. Just had a great time watching movies together at home and sports. It would happen to be March Madness, so that was fun to watch that stuff with him. And he seems to be a little more responsible. When his friends are there, there's a little different story, but he had tons of
14 or
fun.
15-year-old.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
tough. Isn't that bond good to put back together again?
It is, yeah.
So you can see your purpose in getting sober, right?
Yes,
It's
sir.
to reconnect your family again. It's to make sure that they remember, all right, dad can do what he's required to do. Dad can do those things, and we can have a good relationship.
Right.
So that's
And then with my daughter, I had talked to her. My daughter's mom knows that I just didn't fill out the correct paperwork because I was in my addiction. And, when I was in my addiction, I didn't care too much about stuff, obviously.
Yep.
So they went off when I was making a lot of money, and she knew I wasn't supposed to be paying that much money. But I talked to her about it. We talked about it, and I just put it in God's hands. There's nothing I can do. And I don't know, 2-3 months later, she called me out of the blue and said she just left for another court and waived more than half of the back child support for me.
a huge deal.
Yeah.
It's a
It is.
huge deal. And why do you think she did that for you?
She said she's really proud of me and she knows how much I love.
Because
My
you
daughter.
put your heart and soul into becoming sober again,
Right.
into becoming the good person that she remembered in the past, right? And you're going in the right direction. that's the kind of stuff that you obviously you can't control that and you can't make other people do, but that's what happens in life often when you are doing the right thing. You get blessed when you try to do the right thing. So I want to really encourage you, say good job. I think you've seen some really cool things happen to you. Life has a funny way of coming back to haunt you sometimes, and we're not all subject to all roses and rainbows all the time.
Right.
But I think it's important to point out when good things happen because you're doing the right thing. So keep it up. Things are going well there. So you submitted a request to be phased up as well. And is this your handwriting?
It is.
Yeah, Mr. Roach, you need to take some lessons. No, this is, and again, I'm pleased. You actually wrote me 6 pages. That's awesome. That's awesome. Telling me again, very organized, very comprehensive about all you've done in phase 2, even chairing some AA meetings, which I thought was awesome as a phase 2 member. I think that gaining trust of your family and friends because of that. Your attitude of letting things go that you can't control, and then trying to, serenity prayer, changing the things I can. So and you mentioned in here the serenity prayer on a daily basis that you're using, doing community service work. You're actually working 2 jobs, really, right? At the Quality Inn and then now at the Baymont as well.
Yeah.
Kind of a step up for you, if you will. So I think people are recognizing that you can do good things. So based on all of that, I'm happy to present to you a certificate of completion for achieving the necessary requirements and successfully completing phase 2. You're now in phase 3. Congratulations.
Mr. Bond?
Morning, sir.
Good morning. Tell me some of your statistics.
230 personal sober days. I have 187 sober days in this program, 188 days in recovery court. I have 77 self-help meetings. I have 92 days in phase 3. And I counsel with Bear River, with Rosaria, and Group Adam.
Is there anything about your progress that you are surprised about?
Probably consistency with the desire to be sober.
Why does that surprise you?
Because I figured for a long time that I'd probably just still periodically drink, and like the disease does, it definitely manipulated me to think that, yeah, I could drink every now and then. I can't drink a drop. I can't even smell it.
So why are you different now than you were?
Well, where I can't, God can. So I definitely hold on to that. And I've never been more committed to my sobriety in my life than I am now. I like good things. I like good things happening all around me. I like being able to do good things for people. Never had the full clear mind to do so. I've said it quite a few times. Our potential is great. We only use a small percentage of it.
I think you're trying to max out your abilities, though. From what I hear, you are extremely busy.
I was extremely busy before drug court or recovery court. I just now transition it into good things. So,
Okay. Well, tell me about some of those good things that are happening to you.
Well, I definitely have a better relationship with my wife, my peers. That's definitely a good drive, because I like making my wife happy for sure. That
Always a good
helps.
thing.
That helps a lot of things. Also, things like being able to have a new car for my wife. Also, You know, I do full-time college. Never in my mind.
So you work full-time and go to
Yes, sir.
school full-time.
Yes, sir.
All right, tell me about that.
But I never thought in my wildest dreams I'd ever do school. Have always had a passion within me to do ministry. So it's, I won't say crazy, but perfect how God works. Met me halfway for that.
So what are you studying?
Biblical studies.
You got a minor in what?
I'm hoping for addiction and recovery counseling, but pastoral counseling is my biggest push for.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, to be able to be in a couple of different areas of work, to be in a ministry, as well as maybe in even something like Bear River, even Teen Challenge.
Okay.
That's one thing that really opened my eyes to recovery and be a spiritual leader, however.
Recovery courts, like the one shown here, are highly individualized programs designed to treat the root causes of criminal behavior, not just punish the crime. Participants must demonstrate profound personal change, like maintaining sobriety and improving family ties, to advance through phases. This structure reflects the court's focus on rehabilitation, which is a core goal when dealing with substance abuse offenders.
It's got to be titled, but work's going good. I previously did work for myself. I still do a little bit for myself, but it's mainly like rental, maintenance, obtaining, some managing. Sometimes I have to pull the whip out with tenants, be a spokesperson for owners, but also a part of the Alamo Club, a member now. So spend a lot of time at the Alamo Club just because it's easier for me to study and make a meeting. I live a few miles out of town, so it can be a hindrance. The bus system in town is lagging some, so it's hard to depend on that. So.
Then you were doing something special with a program similar to AA.
Yeah, I'm in the transition slowly but surely, starting to celebrate recovery. It went across the board, and I think it's going to be voted this weekend, possibly.
Okay.
Either this weekend or next weekend.
And what would you be doing for that program?
Just want it to exist to where people can, like a church setting's great, but there's still, you know, a lot of people, because of denomination, could keep people from going that may be in recovery, that are fresh in recovery, healing. So it'd be more inviting, I guess.
Okay. So this is a faith-based 12-step program?
Yes. It's more just faith-based. It's not only an addiction, it's anything hindering, anything holding you down, whether it's a barrier, it's just it's for growth, internal spiritual growth. So.
Sounds awesome. And you sent me it seems like the papers are getting better. It started with Mr. Roach, who is well written, which is hard to read. And I've got Mr. Locker, which is well written, which is easy to read. And I've got Mr. Bond, who's typed his all 4-page long letters. So
I'm not very good at computers or tech or all those other words that I won't say. But I figured I would need more practice, so definitely.
well, I appreciate it. And again, like I said with the other gentlemen who wrote their letters as well, I appreciate the detail, the extensive explanations, the way that you organized this. All of those things were very, very good. So I've got two good things to say to you. One is a certificate of achievement in honor of your 180 days of sobriety, the Otsego County Recovery Court presents you with this certificate of achievement. That's number one. And then secondly, I have a certificate of completion for achieving the necessary requirements and successfully completing phase 2 of the Otsego County Recovery Court program. You are now officially in phase 3.
Thank you so much.
I
Yes.
just want to give Matthew some information. Did you know that the bus just expanded their hours during the week and they're open Saturdays now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
They
just
know
wanted to
me
make
by
sure you
name.
know.
Ms.
Thank
Moore,
Morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Too bad.
Tell me some statistics.
I have 630 days in the program, 629 days sobriety.
The court is formally recognizing milestones like sobriety days and program phase completion. These achievements are not just personal victories. They are documented evidence used within the court system to determine if a defendant is ready for less restrictive supervision. This shows the system valuing rehabilitation over mere punishment.
204 days in phase 4 and 186 meetings.
I didn't know the numbers went up that high.
Yeah.
That's really good, really good. So you're asking to move up from phase 4 into phase 5. Does that even seem possible?
It went by so fast. I mean, that's what I tell a lot of people. I'm like, you know, it is a long program, but it's not like it just flies by. Like, yeah,
Are you happy with the progress that you've made so far?
extremely.
Where do you see yourself going from here? Phase 5, what do you think that looks like for you?
That's pretty short. It's not very long. Are you talking about like after graduation where I see
No.
myself, or?
Let me ask you, what do you think that you can do? You're right. Phase 5 is 120 days or 120 to
90 to 120.
90 to 120.
Yeah.
Thank you for helping me with that. So yeah, you didn't want to stay 120. At about this time, the last 5 people that have gone through the program that I can recall all began to have what I call senioritis,
Right,
which is I can't wait to get out of here.
right.
Right? So tell me what it is that you think, number one, that you can get out of phase 5. What do you think you will get? And then tell me, what do you think that you can give for phase 5?
For me, out of phase 5, I've grown so much. I guess just making, like, continuing my mental health, making sure it's strong, continuing going to counseling. I've had a lot of hurdles I've had to jump the last couple of weeks dealing with stuff. So, I mean, just maintaining my sobriety and just talking to people when I need help and I'm starting to feel down. And
you've been doing pretty good with all that, right?
Yeah.
I think you're pretty happy with how things have blossomed a little bit.
yes, for me personally, yeah. I just have some stuff going on at home right now that is, but it happens.
Yeah,
And
life happens.
yep,
But
just take it one day at a time. And
you're here with a smile on your face.
Yep.
A year ago, you would be here, but there would not be a smile on
Right.
your face, right? And that feels good. doesn't
it does, yeah.
So, I mean, family issues are family issues.
Right.
They're gonna come up and
Yep.
you're gonna have to deal with them. The issue is, how do you deal with
Right,
them?
that
And
I'm
I think
handling
you're
them
in a
better.
good place to do that now. And
Yeah.
I'm proud of you for that.
Thank you.
That's really good. The new phase requirements in phase 5 say that you are going to do a relapse prevention plan and make a presentation. And you're going to do something called restorative justice, which is make amends. So you're going to make a presentation about that, or you could do just a community service project.
And I was going to ask you about the community service project, because there's a few of us that are in phase 5. Are we able to group together and do one project?
We,
Together.
as a team, have been talking about that. How do we get you guys to do community service projects together as a group?
Right.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I would be tickled to death if you took the reins and said, hey, I've got a great idea. Let's go do this. One of the things that we as a group have begun to talk about is, how do I get you guys to maybe give back to some of the youth in our juvenile program that are having some issues. A number of you have talked in the past about, well, I would like to make a presentation, or I would like to talk to them. I think that bond would be right there, right? So maybe some of the rest of you would want to do something like that. There's projects out there in the community that we've done in the past, handbags for people. You mentioned painting fire hydrants. I mean, there's lots of stuff that could be done. If you guys wanted to take some of those things on, I think that would be great team building, and I think that would be a great idea. So if you're willing to, interested, is FITEC has connections in the juvenile justice world. She may be able to assist you with that. I'd be happy to hear about those things. So I'm looking forward to seeing what you do and how well you do those kinds of things. So I saw your request to phase up, and you also have wonderful handwriting. Thank you very much for doing that. It makes my life so much easier when I can actually read what people are writing.
Right.
And you talked about the huge improvement of your mental health and over time, and we talked about that, and about having the ability to have difficult conversations now and be okay with that. It's not fun, but you're able to do those things, and then not worrying about having everything figured out ahead of time, but being willing to trust that you're good enough that you'll make it through.
Yeah.
And I think that's wonderful progress that you've made so far. So based on the requests that you've made and the progress that you've made, I have a certificate of completion for you for achieving the necessary requirements and successfully completing phase 4 of our sobriety court program. You're now in phase 5. Congratulations.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing well. Tell me some stats.
I got 204 days in phase 4, 670 days total in the program, 328 sober days, and 700.
When the court reviews program progress, it's essentially assessing whether the defendant meets the criteria for a less restrictive form of supervision. This progression from phase to phase reflects the court's belief that the individual has met the required benchmarks for sustained behavioral change, moving toward full community reintegration.
33 on my own, 188 meetings at council at North Middleton with Kip.
You have some huge numbers. How'd you get so many so fast?
I was honest with myself, just I had enough. I finally just had enough of lying and cheating to myself, and I just put my foot down, and it was before I had my kids. So it's like I didn't do it for them. I found out shortly after I decided to get sober that, you know, that we were gonna expecting a baby. And I mean, just, I don't know, the way it worked out, it just like things were meant to happen the way they did.
You decided to be a responsible member of society, and God said, let you be a dad, right? And those two things go hand in hand, right? So your child really is going to be the beneficiary of your hard work. You had to get knocked down to understand that, but it's working out well. And I think you can see the benefits of this new style of you, right? So tell me the major difference that you see between yourself back then and yourself now.
I mean, I can see a lot of growth in me. You know, I can think more clearly before I act. You know, I used to just be angry and just spout out, and I'm just more reserved now. You know, I try to think of how my kids would see me now, and you know, I don't know, I just don't. I didn't see myself like this. I hit my 2-year of sobriety on the 10th, April 10th.
Congratulations.
And that's
awesome.
really huge for me.
Yeah.
Really a big accomplishment. And it's like, I couldn't even picture myself drinking now. My significant other asked me, like, you know, when I get off drug court, like, how am I gonna do? And I said, you know, I couldn't even picture it now. Like my kids, like they keep me grounded. It's like I don't want to be like that around them.
That's really good to hear. And that's exactly what it can be.
Mhm.
You're not doing it because you have to, you're doing it because you want to. It's you're being drawn to be this bigger, better person because you see the benefits of it. You see how it helps you. You see how it's going to help your kids. You see how it impacts your work and your world. And it just draws you forward as opposed to somebody having to kick you in the pants to get you to go forward.
Right.
That's really cool.
I want somebody to look at me and I want to lead by example because, yeah, I've had a lot to deal with during this program, I've had 2 births, I'm working on my GED. And I used to always try to do my GED, but I would never commit. So I've I work a full-time job. My job can rely on me. I mean, they depend on me and it's just like, I want to be the best version of myself. And I want somebody to say, hey, wow, if he can do that. I mean,
I love hearing you say that. That makes my day more than anything else. When I see people that are able to say, I have accomplished something really, really good, and I can't wait to see where I'm going to go from here.
Right.
And that's what you're telling me. You can't wait to see how your kids are going to grow with this new dad and the responsibilities you're looking forward to, as opposed to saying, oh, no, it's I get to, not I got to.
Right.
Right. Those are awesome things. So remember this day. Remember this. This is your beginning, and it only gets bigger and better from here. All right. You gave me a good phase up letter. Told me the things that you've accomplished, the positive effect that you've had on your life, your parenting skills, the important of remaining sober, the different life structure that you've gone through. You've explained all of those things here. So based on that, we are going to give you this certificate of completion for the necessary requirements of phase 4 and pass you on to phase 5. Congratulations. Jason B.
Morning, Ron.
How are you?
Good.
Tell me how your things are going. Tell me how your statistics are going.
363 days in the program, 92 days in phase 3.
The focus on personal narrative, how sobriety impacts parenting and work, is crucial in treatment courts. This narrative evidence helps the judge see the defendant as an agent of change, rather than just a list of violations. This shift in perspective is why courts allow these personalized progress reports to influence sentencing decisions.
447 days of sobriety overall, 84 days since my sanction.
Time is going by. You seem to be doing pretty well. Is that accurate?
Yes, Your Honor.
What's the difference in you?
I'm enjoying life, trying to make the most of this program.
Okay. Why do you think that you're enjoying this program?
Oh, I'm learning more about myself and I'm trying to help other people by, like, for instance, I attend a community meal on Fridays and I utilize that as helping people out and enabling myself to help myself.
The principle that helping others reinforces self-help is a core tenet of recovery courts. This concept aligns with the idea that civic responsibility is part of rehabilitation, which is distinct from just fulfilling minimum court mandates. It shows the court is looking for holistic social reentry, not just sobriety statistics.
Those things go together, right? Helping
sir.
people and helping yourself, they tend to go together. Is your world getting bigger or smaller?
It's getting bigger.
I've noticed that about many of the people in this program too. They tend to, their world in the past has been all about them. It's just, they're the only person in their world.
Yeah.
But when they take the time to look around and to expand their world, and include include other people. I'm looking to help other people, whether it's at just my family or whether it's at work or people in the community, people at the church. They tend to feel better about themselves. When you're just looking at yourself, you tend to see all of the problems that you have and all of the things that you can't do and the things that hurt you and all that. When you see everybody else, you realize they've got problems too, and I can help them. And by helping them, lo and behold, I end up helping myself, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I want to say, keep up the good work. I think you're really making some discoveries here, and I like what I'm seeing about you. Okay. Anything else that you want to tell me?
I have 201 self-help meetings.
Yeah, so we're going to give you a certificate of achievement for that. That threshold of hitting 200 is a really good milestone. So I want to say congratulations for that. We have a certificate of achievement that says, in honor of your attendance of 200 support group meetings, the Recovery Court proudly presents you with this certificate of achievement. Well done.
Mr. Hathaway.
Judge.
Good morning. Tell me some good numbers.
Okay, I got 161 total sober days, 99 sober days in the program, 40 days in phase 2, 144 total program.
This scene highlights how drug courts measure success beyond just avoiding arrests. The focus shifts to demonstrated commitment through metrics like meeting attendance, which shows the participant is actively engaging in the rehabilitative goals set by the court, moving past simple compliance.
204 days in phase 4 and 186 meetings.
I didn't know the numbers went up that high.
Yeah.
That's really good, really good. So you're asking to move up from phase 4 into phase 5. Does that even seem possible?
It went by so fast. I mean, that's what I tell a lot of people. I'm like, it is a long program, but it's not. Like, it just flies by. Like, yeah,
Are you happy with the progress that you've made so far?
extremely.
Where do you see yourself going from here? Phase 5, what do you think that looks like for you?
That's pretty short. It's not very long. Are you talking about like after graduation where I see myself, or?
Let me ask you, what do you think that you can do? You're right. Phase 5 is 120 days or 120 to
90 to 120.
90 to 120.
Yeah.
Thank you for helping me with that. So yeah, you didn't want to stay 120. At about this time, the last 5 people that have gone through the program that I can recall all began to have what I call senioritis,
Right,
which is, I can't wait to get out of here.
right.
Right? So tell me what it is that you think, number one, that you can get out of phase 5. What do you think you will get? And then tell me, what do you think that you can give for phase 5?
For me, out of phase 5, I've grown so much. I guess just making, like, continuing my mental health, making sure it's strong, continuing going to counseling. I've had a lot of hurdles I've had to jump the last couple of weeks dealing with stuff. So, I mean, just maintaining my sobriety and just talking to people when I need help and I'm starting to feel down. And
you've been doing pretty good with all that, right?
Yeah.
I think you're pretty happy with how things have blossomed a little bit.
yes, for me personally, yeah. I just have some stuff going on at home right now that is, but it happens.
And
And
life happens.
yep,
But
just take it one day at a time. And
you're here with a smile on your face.
Yep.
A year ago, you would be here, but there would not be a smile on
Right.
your face, right? And that feels good. doesn't
it does, yeah.
So, I mean, family issues are family issues.
Right.
They're going to come up and
Yep.
you're going to have to deal with them. The issue is, how do you deal with
Right,
them?
that
And I
I'm
think
handling
you're
them
in a
better.
good place to do that now. And
Yeah.
I'm proud of you for that.
Thank you.
That's really good. The new phase requirements in phase 5 say that you are going to do a relapse prevention plan and make a presentation. And you're going to do something called restorative justice, which is make amends. So you're going to make a presentation about that, or you could do just a community service project.
And I was gonna ask you about the community service project, because there's a few of us that are in phase 5. Are we able to group together and do one project?
We,
Together.
as a team, have been talking about that. How do we get you guys to do community service projects together as a group?
Right,
Absolutely.
okay,
I would be tickled to death if you took the reins and said, hey, I've got a great idea. Let's go do this. One of the things that we as a group have begun to talk about is, how do I get you guys to maybe give back to some of the youth in our juvenile program that are having some issues? A number of you have talked in the past about, well, I would like to make a presentation, or I would like to talk to them. That bond would be right there, right? So maybe some of the rest of you would want to do something like that. There's projects out there in the community that we've done in the past, handbags for people. You mentioned painting fire hydrants. I mean, there's lots of stuff that could be done. If you guys wanted to take that, some of those things on, I think that would be great team building, and I think that would be a great idea. So if you're willing to, interested, is FITEC has connections in the juvenile justice world. She may be able to assist you with that. I'd be happy to hear about those things. So I'm looking forward to seeing what you do and how well you do those kinds of things. So I saw your request to phase up, and you also have wonderful handwriting.
Oh,
Thank you very
thank
much
you.
for doing that. It makes my life so much easier when I can actually read what people are writing.
right.
And you talked about the huge improvement of your mental health and over time, and we talked about that, and about having the ability to have difficult conversations now and be okay with that. It's not fun, but you're able to do those things, and then not worrying about having everything figured out ahead of time, but
Right.
being willing to trust that you're good enough that you'll make it through.
Yeah.
And I think that's wonderful progress that you've made so far. So based on the requests that you've made and the progress that you've made, I have a certificate of completion for you for achieving the necessary requirements and successfully completing phase 4 of our sobriety court program. You're now in phase 5. Congratulations.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing well. Tell me some stats.
I got 204 days in phase 4, 670 days total in the program, 328 sober days, and 733 on my own, 188 meetings at council at North Middleton with Kim.
You have some huge numbers. How'd you get so many so fast?
I was honest with myself. Just I had enough. I finally just had enough of lying and cheating to myself, and I just put my foot down, and it was before I had my kids. So it's like I didn't do it for them. I found out shortly after I decided to get sober that that we were gonna expecting a baby, and I mean, just I don't know, it the way it worked out, it just like things were meant to happen the way they did.
You decided to be a responsible member of society, and God said, let you be a dad, right? And those two things go hand in hand. Right? So your child really is going to be the beneficiary of your hard work. You had to get knocked down to understand that, but it's working out well. And I think you can see the benefits of this new style of you, right? So tell me the major difference that you see between yourself back then and yourself now.
I mean, I can see a lot of growth in me. I can think more clearly before I act. I usually just be angry and just spout out, and I'm just more reserved now. I try to think of how my kids would see me now, and I don't know. I just don't. I didn't see myself like this. I hit my 2-year of sobriety on the 10th, April 10th.
Congratulations.
And that's really
awesome.
huge for me.
Yeah.
Really big accomplishment. And it's like, I couldn't even picture myself drinking now. My significant other asked me, like, you know, when I get off drug court, like, how am I gonna do? And I said, you know, I couldn't even picture it now. Like, my kids, like, they keep me grounded. It's like, I don't want to be like that around them.
That's really good to hear. And that's exactly what it can be.
Mhm.
You're not doing it because you have to, you're doing it because you want to. It's you're being drawn to be this bigger, better person because you see the benefits of it. You see how it helps you. You see how it's going to help your kids. You see how it impacts your work and your world. And it just draws you forward as opposed to somebody having to kick you in the pants to get you to go forward.
Right.
That's really cool.
I want somebody to look at me, and I want to lead by example because, yeah, I've had a lot to deal with during this program. I've had 2 births. I'm working on my GED, and I used to always try to do my GED, but I would never commit. So I work a full-time job. My job can rely on me. I mean, they depend on me, and it's just like I want to be the best version of myself. And I want somebody to say, hey, wow, if he can do that. I mean,
I love hearing you say that. That makes my day more than anything else. When I see people that are able to say, I have accomplished something really, really good, and I can't wait to see where I'm going to go from here.
Right.
And that's what you're telling me. You can't wait to see how your kids are going to grow with this new dad and the responsibilities you're looking forward to, as opposed to saying, oh, no, it's I get to, not I got to.
Right.
Right. Those are awesome things. So remember this day. Remember this. This is your beginning, and it only gets bigger and better from here. All right. You gave me a good phase up letter. Told me the things that you've accomplished, the positive effect that you've had on your life, your parenting skills, the important of remaining sober, the different life structure that you've gone through. You've explained all of those things here. So based on that, we are going to give you this certificate of completion for the necessary requirements of phase 4 and pass you on to phase 5. Congratulations.
Jason B.
Morning, Ron.
How are you?
Good.
Tell me how your things are going. Tell me how your statistics are going.
363 days in the program, 92 days in phase 3, 447 days of sobriety overall, 84 days since my sanction.
Time is going by. You seem to be doing pretty well. Is that accurate?
Yes, Your Honor.
What's the difference in you?
I'm enjoying life, trying to make the most of this program.
Okay. Why do you think that you're enjoying this program?
Oh, I'm learning more about myself, and I'm trying to help other people by, like, for instance, I attend a community meal on Fridays, and I utilize that as helping people out and enabling myself to help myself.
Those things go together, right? Helping
sir.
people and helping yourself, they tend to go together. Is your world getting bigger or smaller?
It's getting bigger.
I've noticed that about many of the people in this program too. They tend to, their world in the past has been all about them. It's just, they're the only person in their world.
Yeah.
But when they take the time to look around and to expand their world and include other people, I'm looking to help other people, whether it's at just my family or whether it's at work or people in the community, people at the church, they tend to feel better about themselves. When you're just looking at yourself, you tend to see all of the problems that you have and all of the things that you can't do and the things that hurt you and all of that. when you see everybody else, you realize they've got problems too, and I can help them. And by helping them, lo and behold, I end up helping myself, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so I want to say, keep up the good work. I think you're really making some discoveries here, and I like what I'm seeing about you. Okay. Anything else that you want to tell me?
I have 201 self-help meetings.
Yeah, so we're going to give you a certificate of achievement for that. That threshold of hitting 200 is a really good milestone. So I want to say congratulations for that. We have a certificate of achievement that says, in honor of your attendance of 200 support group meetings, the recovery court proudly presents you with this certificate of achievement. Well done.
Mr. Hathaway.
Judge.
Good morning. Tell me some good numbers.
Okay, I got 161 total sober days, 99 sober days in the program, 40 days in phase 2, 144 total program, and 48 self-helps.
All right. So you're in phase 2, which is focusing on stabilization, right? Trying to make sure that you are doing the right things consistently, making the right decisions, and not having the ups and downs quite so much that you did maybe before you got into the program. How is that going?
Good. I think it's a process. Yeah, it's got its ups and downs, and but I think, yeah, it's overall better. Yeah.
What's the biggest or hardest thing to overcome for you to get on that even keel?
Well, to be honest, when I, come from, excuse me, the lifestyle I lived before, it was all about me. And, being honest when it's easy not to be is, it's a challenge, but I don't have much ground to stand on, but the ground that I'm gaining is firm ground to stand on, and that feels good.
I like to hear that. There's a biblical story that talks about building your house on sand. Floods come and it washes away the foundation, and the house collapses. Building your house on solid ground, on the other hand, on rock that you cling to. Rains come, floods come, house never moves. Right? I think that you're discovering that. If you're honest, if you build on that rock of truthfulness and integrity, then you've got something that you can really stand on. You don't have to worry about what's going to hit you. You're solid. That's a good thing. I think you mentioned that you got some sobriety now underneath your feet. How many days?
161.
We have been a little slow in getting you a certificate for hitting that 90-day marker. So there's one at 90, there's one at 180, and then there's one at 365. So we wanted to recognize the fact that you've made that first marker. I apologize for being a little slow to get it to you, but I wanted to say 90 days of sobriety is a big deal. You've got 160 some, almost to that 180-day marker as well. So I want to say, good job. Keep up the good work. Appreciate you.
Albert.
Morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good.
Tell me some statistics.
I got 393 days sober, 399 days in the program, 92 days in phase 3, and 143 self-help meetings.
Which one of those numbers are you the most proud of?
The first one that I always put first, my days sober.
Why is that?
I just didn't think I was going to get there. Every time I tried to do it, it was a step back for me. And now that I've finally found the tools and the places I need to be, it's made crazy changes to me. And technically, I'm 16 months sober on the 22nd of this month, but in program, I have 393.
That's really good. And I'm going to recognize you in just a minute with a certificate for that year meeting that threshold. And I know that in reality, it's longer than that.
I don't look at the numbers. I'm happy I'm sober.
But it's good to remember though how long you've been there and how far you've come. And because it is a daily grind sometimes. There are days where, it's easy. to be sober. Nothing bad happens, no temptations come along, life is floating through pretty well. The sun's out, it's getting warm, life is good.
Yeah.
But there are also days in a year where the floods rise, the clouds come down, it's cold, it's rainy, it's snowing 21 inches on spring break. You know, it's those days.
I've had those.
We recognize that you've gone through all of that, the good and the bad, and we wanted to say, well done, congratulations for that. Before I give you that certificate, let me ask you one other question. You're in phase 3 now, right?
Yes.
Which is what's called pro-social rehabilitation. It has 2 parts. One is pro-social, meaning we want you to get out and do things with people. Have you been able to do that?
Yeah, I get out and chair a meeting every Monday night, and I've been doing that for better half of the time that I've been here. And as far as being pro-social about it, I've been sponsoring 2 people right now.
Awesome.
And you know, just giving them the tools that I've learned over the process, and hopefully they take the torch and run with it. One of them's fairly young, so I gotta tread lightly. I mean, he's still under the age limit of drinking. So it's a little different to look at, but you know, if I can help him now, that'll save him so much time and energy later.
Yep. I've always found that when I am teaching, I am the one that tends to learn the most. Have you found that to be true as well?
Yeah, yep.
By being an example, you end up examining yourself
Yeah,
more than they do.
because then you learn more about yourself because they open the doorways, then you're like,
right,
oh, I was a little bit like that. Oh my gosh. And then you look, and then you got to take a hard look in the mirror at yourself. So
yeah, if you're going to be honest with them, you got to be honest with yourself, right? Good. The other side of that equation is the rehabilitation side. How do you think you're coming on that?
Phenomenal. I feel really good about everything that I'm doing. I know I'm going to take these tools when I'm done with the program and continue them. Counseling's been great for me. AA, I love it. I like going, I like sharing meetings. Meetings have been good. I mean, they've almost been, you know, busier since I started sharing the Monday night.
Would you say that you found some skills and abilities that you have that you didn't maybe know that you had?
Absolutely. There's stuff that I'm like, wow, I didn't think I'd do that. And now I'm like, why not do more? So
I like that attitude.
So
I like that attitude. Very good. Well, let me formally give you this certificate. It's for a certificate of achievement for 365 days of sobriety. Congratulations on
Thank
that.
you.
Morning. Morning. Tell me some good numbers.
383 days in the program, 382 sobriety days in the program, 423 sobriety on my own, 92 in phase 3, 127 self-helps, and I counsel with Northern Lights.
I'll ask you the same question I asked Albert. What number are you most proud of?
The silver ones, my personal silver ones, for sure.
So did you ever think that you'd get that high?
No.
So what's the reason that you're able to stay sober for so long?
I think it's for the way I've changed my thinking. Like I used to be kind of like, you know, why can't that be me? You know, stuff like that, like a pity party, I guess. And it drive the start of drinking of that particular day or week or month or whatever. And it's just, I completely flipped it.
Yeah. So what areas in your life do you see that are expanding or getting better?
Definitely like me helping others. I used to be kind of like a pretty selfish person before, but now like there's a certain coworker of mine that's going through a pretty tough time, and I talk to him like after work, you know, try and help him out, you know, just let him vent.
Good. Did you ever think that you'd be that guy?
No. No, I used to tell you kick rocks, you know.
Yeah. Do you like the guy that you're becoming?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think everybody else probably likes you a little bit better now too, right? Isn't that amazing where you stop worried about yourself and good things happen to you?
Right.
Well, I want to say I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking with you about some of these things. You seem to have a pretty grasp of where you're going and why you're there and what you need to do to continue that. So you're in phase 3, you're about halfway through the program. Step on the accelerator. You've done well to here. So I don't want you to take that as a, hey, the judge thinks I'm slacking off. I don't. I think that you're really doing well.
This shift from self-focus to helping others reflects a core principle of restorative justice and recovery. It illustrates the concept that personal change isn't just about avoiding trouble, but actively building a positive social role, which courts view as a significant indicator of long-term rehabilitation success.
But now is the time to really, you know where you need to go, you know what you need to do. Let's just put the pedal to the metal and see how far this rocket ship will take you. Okay. So let me sign this. Give you your certificate. This recognizes 365 days of sobriety, which is an awesome achievement. Keep up the good work. How are you?
Oh, I'm tired.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah,
Or is that a good thing because you've been out doing good work?
I'm doing a lot. I've been doing a lot and very stressed at some things too. So it's been very draining emotionally too. So
Brooke, 2 years ago, going through the same thing that you're going through now, what would she have looked like?
I was losing my mind 2 years ago. I was really struggling 2 years ago.
So what has changed?
I guess finally committing to this new life in this new way. Not keeping like thoughts in the past, not holding on to anything in the past, but really looking forward.
Okay. So your perspective has changed. You're not focused inward, you're focusing outward. Would that be a way to say it?
Yeah.
Okay. What else has changed about you?
Definitely gotten a lot more stable, a lot stronger, a lot more just able to handle things better. Acceptance has been huge.
Because it sounds like 2 years ago, you had troubles in your life.
Yeah.
And today, you have troubles in your life. So it's not the troubles that have changed. It's not that your life has gotten so much easier or so much better. It's just that you are better able to deal with it.
Yeah.
What have you told yourself that you account for that change? I mean, it sounds like it's just a flip of a switch, but it can't be that easy, or can it?
No, I mean it's a lot of switches. But making sure that they're flipped and they don't flip back. And I know like there's still some things that are hard, and with like the PTSD, there's still things that, you know, it'll trigger me, and just staying focused on now, and that this isn't the same, that this is different, that's a different situation, it's different people, it's different scenarios, it's different me. And getting through it rather than just relying on, you know, drugs or alcohol to numb it, just focusing on getting through it. And now it's easier for me to stay focused and get through it than it was before.
Do you like you better now?
Yeah, I do.
Why?
I feel like I've been able to be who I want to be, and I've let go of a lot of strings that were holding me back from that.
Do other people like you better now?
Yeah, the people that matter. There's a lot of people that don't, but those are people that I'm really glad to not have in my life anymore, honestly. And I don't even know why I cared what they thought. Or
I love what you just said. The people that matter. You can't please everybody.
No.
As a judge, I learned that really quick, right? I tick off half the people probably more than half the people that are in front of me on a regular basis. So I can't live my life based on public approval. And sometimes we, as people, as humans, base our life on whether or not the people that are viewing us approve of us. Well, they didn't applaud, so I must be doing something wrong. I must be, no. Just because they don't like what happened doesn't mean it's the wrong thing to do. In fact, often in life, you have to do the hard things, whether people like it or not. So I love the fact that you are strong enough, that you are wise enough to be able to say, I'm going to do the right thing for me and for the people that I care about, no matter what anybody else says. That tells me that you've got a deep reservoir, that still waters run deep, right? And that you can handle anything that life throws at you because you are grounded. Your house is built on that rock, right? That is awesome. And if nothing else good happens to you for the rest of your life, the transformation that you've had, the way that the team talks about you, we consistently say that you're a rock star. And I want you to know that, not to just feel good, but to know that we notice. So one of the ways that we can show our appreciation is to say, you got 500 days of sobriety. I know you've got more now, but we want to recognize you for that and say, congratulations, well done. Okay, let's do that. Mr. Parsons.
Morning, sir.
Morning. Up on your feet.
Kind of.
Seems getting well.
Better than it was.
You're not running around in your little scooter anymore. That's a good thing.
Thank God.
All right, a couple things with you. We have an essay on accountability. I've read that. I thought you did a nice job, so I'd like you to read that to the rest of the people, please.
Let me do that now,
Yes,
sir.
please.
My essay was, as I'm sure you know, accountability. And the first thing I did was look for the definition, make sure I had it right. And accountability is responsibility. And what I am responsible and accountable for and to today is I am accountable to this program as well as others working through it. I'm accountable to Otsego County Drug Court. I am accountable to my family to be responsible for them and make sure that they no longer have to worry about my future as well as my actions today. I'm accountable to my higher power and society to be a part of the solution instead of a part of the problem. But most of all, I need to be accountable to myself and my beliefs. I need to look into the mirror every morning and ask myself what I need to do to be a better person and what can I do to help others today. Until my latter years, I took pride in my accountability and in whatever I did. Then that part of me began to slip away. I'm really not sure why that happened or when it started. But I am sure it has destroyed much of my life as well as hurt many others. I can make amends and will make amends to those I have hurt, including myself. I do believe that the greatest and most powerful amend I can make is the one of the living sort. I have said many times that I'm sorry, I won't do it again, I will change, and then never followed through. But then I was trying to change for others, even when I knew that plan would fail, and it did. Today I'm changing for me. Change is not easy. A famous man once said, we choose to change not because it's hard, but let me see, start over. We choose to change not because it's easy, but because it's hard. This is not an exact quote, but it fits me at this time in my life. In my past, I have tried to take the easier way out and have many times failed. Today, I choose to follow a path that is much harder to pursue, but I am also sure that the rewards the rewards will hold a better path in the future for me. If I can finish this accountability, if I can finish this program, if I can finish this accountability to myself and this program, my life will be better to everyone around me. Again, change will not be easy, nor will it ever be done, but it will be worth it. Respectfully, Randy Parsons.
Thank you, Mr. Parsons. I think that was well written.
Crappy handwriting though.
We as men tend to suffer from that, so I give you a pass on that today. Accountability is a funny thing. It is a constant. You are constantly accountable, but we don't always live up to it. Sometimes in a moment of weakness, we do something that we probably shouldn't and know that we shouldn't. One of those times, I think, is the sanction that's been brought against you. It says that on March 17th, you tested positive for a morphine pill at Great Lakes Screening and Services.
Correct.
So what do you want to do about that?
The judge's comments about not living for public approval touch on the concept of personal agency, a key element in criminal rehabilitation. When courts shift focus from external compliance to internal character change, they are recognizing that true behavioral modification must be self-driven, not just externally enforced by the legal system.
Do you want to have a hearing on that? Do you want to have a lawyer on that? Do you want to go through that process, or would you like to tell me that you did that?
Oh, I did it.
So you're giving up your right to have a hearing, your right to have an attorney, your right to go through all the hearing process and have all the rights that you would have at a hearing?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Do I have the right to a short explanation?
Absolutely. I'm going to give you that in just a minute.
All right.
I want to make sure that you understand that you could have a hearing and you could have witnesses, you could cross-examine witnesses, you could present evidence, you could have an attorney represent you, you could have the burden of proof be on the probation department. They would not have to, you would not have to prove anything, they would have to prove it.
When a defendant chooses to waive their rights to a full hearing, they are giving up the chance to challenge the evidence presented against them. This decision is serious because the court, not a jury, will determine guilt or liability based on the facts presented at that moment.
By preponderance of the evidence, all of those are same rights that you saw me give to the gentleman today. Those all apply to you. If you don't want to do that, we can take your plea today and allow you to explain it today as well. Is that what you'd like to do?
Yes, please.
All right. Would you raise your right hand so I can swear you in? You swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help you God.
I do.
All right. Go ahead. Put your hand down. The allegation against you is that on March 17th of 2026, you tested positive and actually did take a morphine pill and then later tested positive for it at Great Lakes Screening and Services. Is that true?
Correct.
And you knew that was a violation of your probation at the time?
It would, yeah.
What would you like to explain, or what would you like to tell me by way of explanation about that?
I had at that point stopped taking my other pain medication for my foot. I just felt like I was gone too far. It was time to stop. And not necessarily gone too far, but I didn't want to go too far. And I out the bathroom drawers, bored, and
The court clarified that the standard of proof here is preponderance of the evidence, which is lower than the beyond a reasonable doubt standard used in criminal trials. Essentially, the prosecution only needs to show it's more likely than not that the violation occurred.
I run across the pill vial with a pill in it, and I took the pill not thinking about it because it was prescribed for me, and that's my own just part of the learning process of this. And I apologize to the court, and I apologize to everyone here for what I've done.
Okay. What have you learned about yourself, about sobriety from this incident?
I've learned that my own best thinking can get me in trouble. And I've also learned that honesty is the best policy, even when it sometimes bites you in the hindquarters. I could come up with stories and I could come up with all this, but what it boils down to, Your Honor, is I did it. And I have whatever you choose to sanction me with is, I have coming as far as I'm concerned.
Well, you wrote in your, thank you, and I do appreciate the honesty that you just given me there. Thank you for doing that. I know that's not always easy, but I appreciate it when I hear it.
That's growth.
It is, and you wrote in your letter, talking about accountability, that you've recognized that it's dropped. And I want you to be able to say to yourself that you have brought the bar back up where it belongs. I don't see this violation as a lowering of the bar, because it appears to me that you recognize that the bar needs to be raised. Am I accurate so far?
Yes.
All right. So what do you think that you can do? What changes do you think that you can make to raise that level of accountability back up where it was in the past for you?
Spend a little more time thinking about what I'm doing. And I'm becoming very involved with AA. I now chair meetings. I'm the secretary for one of the groups. I am about to change sponsors to somebody with much more sober time, many years. And I need that. And I couldn't find anybody I had relatability to except one fellow that was pretty fresh in sobriety from sponsor standpoint. And now I've run across a fellow that I can talk to, and he's more my age.
Good, some relatability there.
Yes.
Good, I'm glad to hear that. The typical sanction for a second violation is 3 days of work camp. I'm thinking that with your foot, that may not necessarily be a really good idea at the moment. Are there things that you can do for other types of community service? I mean, are there things that you can do if we were able to find you some less strenuous activities?
Well, I'm hopefully going to, at the next court time, I'm going to apply to phase up to 2. And I'd like to know if I could maybe do some service at the senior center. They have a kitchen. I know about kitchens. I can help the ladies in there. It's not something that's on our list, but I think I can do that. And I can do that now to cover what I owe you.
Mr. Hamlin, does that sound like?
If the court finds it reasonable, that's acceptable.
I think that'd be a great idea. The typical sanction is 3 days community service or 3 days at work camp, which would be about 18. So if you can give me 24 hours of community service at the senior center, I don't need it in a row, but I do need you to make significant progress. So keep track of your hours. Every time you report to Mr. Hamlin, you're going to tell him how many more hours that you've got. Initial off on it. Yeah. If you need some paperwork, Mr. Hamlin, I'm sure you can come up with something to assist you, but typically it's just a list that you're going to do. So I will sentence you to 24 hours of community service work at the senior center would be acceptable. If you need to go someplace else, you can talk it over with Mr. Hamlin, but I'm going to expect that that's where you do that.
Okay. And I can, if I go and find out I can't be on my foot for 8 hours or 6 hours.
I'm not saying that you've got to do, I'm aware of your physical disability. So that's why I'm trying to make this appropriate. So yeah, I'm not requiring 8 hours in a row, but I do require 24 hours total.
Not a problem.
So, and then get it done as quickly as possible. I'm not going to say, well, I'll give you 45 days to complete that. So that means you need to get there, do 3 or 4 hours on a regular basis, 8 or 10 times, and then you'll be. All right. Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate it.
Do you want my numbers?
Yes, please.
All right. Phase 1, total days in phase 84. Sober days 159. Total days in program 84. Total meetings 50. Total days in counseling 72 and total counseling sessions of 10.
Keep up the good work there.
And all my fines and everything are paid in full.
Glad to hear that. Thank you for that responsibility as well. All right, sir. I appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
I expect good things to hear from you in the future.
I appreciate what you do for us.
Mr. Fennell, how are you, sir?
Tired. I think I got Ally beat.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yep.
So tell me about your numbers.
I got 160 days in program, 63 in phase 2, 45 meetings, and 312 overall sober.
Okay. And then tell me why you're tired.
A week of being an official dad instead of a stepdad's getting to me.
So the baby came home.
Yep.
Boy or girl?
Boy, everything's all good in birth, even though we had that scare,
That's what I was wondering about.
Like 30 weeks or something, 33 weeks, I think it was.
In drug court, the judge is balancing the standard penalty like work camp against the participant's current circumstances, such as a physical disability. This customized approach shows the court is applying discretion rather than just following a rigid sentencing schedule.
So mom and boy are doing well?
Yep.
Dad not so much, but mom and child are okay?
Oh, she's just as exhausted, if not more. And she reminds me that I sleep through a couple diaper changes here and there at night.
I can imagine that. So what are you learning about yourself that you didn't know before the reality of being a dad set in?
I mean, I was already a stepdad to a 4 and a 6-year-old, but being an official dad is it brings a smile to my face a lot more than I expected.
Do you expect more from yourself now?
Oh, yeah. Yep. I mean, she straight up called me out about sleeping through diaper changes at night, and that night I naturally got up out of bed and just did it. I expected myself to do it, and it was just second nature.
Good. That's good to hear. That level of responsibility will serve you well. You got a lot more lessons to learn being a new dad, as
So,
Mr. Justice.
Oh yeah,
Right.
Being
Maybe
a
the two of you could talk a
through
little
there.
bit about that. I tell people this, now that I'm a grandfather, I pray more for my kids as adults than I did for them when they were young. When they were young, I could just fix it.
Oh yeah.
Now that they have kids of their own, grandpa can't fix everything. I try, but I just can't do it. So it's a cool learning experience.
I don't doubt. I tell my dad and my mom all the time. I'm like, now that I'm a parent, I see what you did there when I was younger, sort of thing.
Good. So I think things are going well there. It sounds like you're transitioning. There's going to be a lot more tired days. There's going to be a lot. The issue is going to be, do you give in to the tiredness and start snapping at your wife and barking at your kid and those kind of things, or do you bite your tongue because you know it's the right thing to do? Right. And I think this program, I hope that this program will give you the foresight and the fortitude to bite your tongue when you need to.
She got me pretty well trained, so.
Well, I'm glad to hear that.
Every once in a while, though, I do snap back.
I mean, we're human. We all have our bad days. We all have our grumpiness. My wife reminds me that I am not just the judge that everybody loves, but I'm a bit grumpy when I get home sometimes.
I don't doubt it.
So it happens, but our job as adults, our job as responsible men is to minimize all of that and do the right thing at the right time for the right reason. Okay. You wrote me a paper, right?
Yep.
I want you to read that because I thought it was really good.
He that is good for making excuses is seldom good for anything else. Benjamin Franklin. I used to be quite the excuse maker, and I was damn good at it too. But then you grow up over time and start to realize that it gets you nowhere in life, and it hurts you more than anyone. I'm proud of myself for how far I've come over the last few years with holding myself accountable and not allowing excuses to overpower logic. But everybody makes mistakes. I called in late on December 1st because I made the mistake of using our 4-year-old and 6-year-old minions to be my alarm clock on school days. Real smart, huh? Something I'm beginning to accept more and more is that when I make a mistake, I don't beat myself up about it so much. I do something about it besides buying a 6-pack. I was going to write this paper about tough coaching and accountability, but that's a conversation for another day. I can honestly say that coming up with excuses and holding yourself accountable are directly connected. One thing I know I need to be better at is doing and completing tasks earlier, such as community service every month or writing this paper that I wrote on the day it was due. I think that completing tasks ahead of time leads to not having to create excuses, which in turn holds myself accountable. From firsthand experience, I can say that I've had less stress and less gray hairs sprout from not needing to worry about creating excuses as much and focus more on what I need to do to avoid those situations altogether. One day at a time, but it's getting better than it used to be.
Not often I hear people quoting Benjamin Franklin.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Where'd you come up with that?
I mean, I was good at math in school, but I was a lot better at remembering history stuff. So I kind of keep Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Jefferson stuff in my head here and there. And I had to look that one up, but it was one that I knew was out there.
I think that will serve you well. Anytime you can talk, Thomas Jefferson said, you're on the right track. Your thinking is A-okay. And I like the way that you have phrased some of these things. I hold myself accountable, not allowing excuses to overpower logic. That's a good way of phrasing that. When I make a mistake, I don't beat myself up about it. And then you were humorous about buying the 6-pack. So
That was a common occurrence back in the day.
Yeah, you've got a good perspective. I think I see you changing from what you were, and I think you see you changing, which is really the good point about that. And the way that you connected holding excuses and holding yourself accountable was good. That was a good connection there as well. Unfortunately for you, you're also facing a sanction today for a not the end of the world kind of thing, but April 3rd, you were a no call for a scheduled drug screen. And I think you spoke to Luke about it, Mr. Hamlin about it, and said, I just shut my brain off and forgot about it.
Yeah, Kingsley went to Augie's dad's with them from Wednesday of spring break through Sunday when my parents got back from Florida knowing the baby could come. And we both looked at each other and said, we're sleeping on Friday and Saturday. And I just didn't call in time on Friday morning.
And I appreciate that. But I still have to say accountability is accountability, right? So the standard is here, and anytime, even if there's a good excuse that goes lower than that, we have to say, hey, right? So I'm not looking to wipe the floor with you or beat you over the head with it, because I think that you are on the right path. But as to this allegation, this sanction, you have the right to have a hearing. You have the right to be represented by an attorney. You have the right to see, hear, and question the witnesses. You have the right to present your own witnesses, get a subpoena from the court if you want. You have the right to have burden of proof beyond the probation department. You have the right to appeal. You have all of those hearing rights that we've talked about before with everybody. Do you want to have a hearing, or do you want to admit it to?
I admit to go.
All right. Would you raise your right hand, please? You swear the testimony you're going to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help you God.
Yes, sir.
All right. Go ahead. Put your hand down. The allegation is that on April the 3rd of 2026, you were a no call for a scheduled drug screen at Great Lakes Screening. Is that accurate? All right. Is there any other explanation that you want to give me for that?
No, it's just I called in late. I knew I didn't have to test that day. So
all right,
that's that.
The normal, because this is your second sanction, the normal one for that is the same with Mr. Parsons. It's 3 days of work camp. Given the fact that you got a baby at home, and is there some schedule that you want to be on for
I'm
that?
just hoping for a 30-day window of non-consecutive days.
All right. I'm going to grant that request. Number one, because I know that you just have a new baby at home, and that just tears up schedules like crazy. And I don't want to put any more time on your wife than absolutely necessary.
I appreciate that. My financials are taking a little bit of a burden with the time off too.
So we'll give you 3 work camp days to be scheduled between you and Mr. Hamlin within the next 30 days.
Okay.
And I expect that I won't have to have this conversation with you again. I think overall you're headed in the right direction. Let's just clean up some of the loose ends that I see kind of sprawling out there. I think the fact that you're a new dad is giving you the insight that you need to be the responsible person that I need you to be. So I'm anticipating that will occur naturally. Anything else you want to tell me?
I was gonna ask you for community service, and I think the baseball season's only 2 months max, but if I be an assistant coach for T-ball, can I count those hours to my community service for the month? Because they're obviously
Are
gonna
you getting
outweigh the
paid
two.
for it?
No,
So you're volunteering your time?
yeah, Augie asked me if he's gonna play regardless, but he asked me if I'd coach, and I figured I'd asked if I could double down to coaching my community service as well.
I'm a athletics kind of guy, and I've coached basketball for 18 years. So that kind of stuff is near and dear to my heart. My question is, have the effect of making you think about what I want you to think about?
I think so, because I know that they're short on coaches for the Little League, and regardless of your decision, I'm still gonna be an assistant coach. I just was asking if it
Well,
was useful.
I like people getting into the community, and I like people doing things that not only benefit them and their family, but benefit others' families as well. And a T-ball coach herding cats at that age is something that does help everybody's kids. So I am going to allow that as part of this process.
Okay,
So thank you for your request, and I'll honor that.
Thank you.
Which way you want to go?
Anybody else before they do it? Mr. Galt. Mr. Dick, you had a chance to speak with Mr. Galt. How would you want to proceed today?
Your Honor, a hearing is not necessary. We did discuss the potential outcomes of admissions to the allegations, and Mr. Galt does wish just to enter admissions in this matter.
All right. Mr. Galt, you've heard what your attorney has said. Is that what you want to do?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. You recall the rights that I gave you before, the right to have a hearing, the right to have your attorney represent you, and all of the hearing rights that you have, including cross-examination, burden of proof beyond the probation department, all of those things?
Yes, Your Honor.
And knowing all of those things, is it still your desire to enter a plea today?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Would you raise your right hand? Do you swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Understanding all of the rights that you have, has anybody promised you anything or threatened you in any way to get you to plead today?
No, Your Honor.
Are you doing this of your own free choice and free will?
Yes, sir.
All right. The first allegation is that on or about March the 12th of 2026, you were there was a no call for a scheduled drug screen at the Great Lakes Screening and Services. Was that true?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. The second allegation is that on March 31st of 2026, you were no-show for a scheduled individual counseling session at Bear River. Is that true?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is there anything that you'd like to tell me by way of explanation for either or both of those things?
March 12th, the late call was, I don't know, I must have slept. I normally wake up and call, and that day, for some reason, I slept through my alarm and didn't call until 7:30. I notified Luke about it when I knew. So that's my fault. I slept through it. And called late.
Okay. Anything as to the March 31st one?
The counseling was, it was out of my routine, because normally, since I've been in the program, I always do my counseling on court days. And the week prior to that, we had court. I went to my group session as normal. And then I went to go to my individual, and she informed me that it wasn't scheduled that day, so we had to reschedule it. So it just threw me off. And then from the week like a few days before that, I got into really buckling down on my moving, because I'm doing it all by myself. My parents got hurt, so I kind of ran out of help too. So I was trying to get it all done, and I just forgot that I had to reschedule it, because I was so used to the routine I had since I've been in here, and I just forgot that it wasn't taken care of the day it normally would have been.
All right.
That's my fault also.
All right. Thank you for those explanations. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to ask Mr. Hamlin, and then I'm going to ask Mr. Dick if they have any statements that they'd like to make as far as what we should do by way of sanctions for this. And then I'm going to give you an opportunity to tell, after you've heard from them, anything else that you want to tell me at that point. All right. Mr. Hamlin, your comments.
Thank you, Your Honor, and I'll be as brief as I possibly can.
Respectfully, I'd like to remind the court that Mr. Galt currently has 8 sanctions and has been in this program roughly since November 7th of 2024. The pattern of his sanctions are all no-shows, no calls, failing to do respectfully this or that. He's been given many opportunities in this program, and he's been given many opportunities over and over. He's gone from jail, work camp, I even believe an essay or two. But I do have to consider the authority of this program, and I think for what it's worth, I think dismissal would be an acceptable recommendation.
Mr. Dick, your allocation?
Yes, Your Honor. I'll start off with Mr. Galt. He did express that he's thankful for being accepted into this program because it has helped him get his life on track and get him to where he is. A huge part in his sobriety here. He does want to complete the program. As far as it pertains to trying to do what he's supposed to in this program, he does acknowledge that his violations are a pattern of the no call or no show. However, Your Honor, he is currently registered through Michigan Works.
This segment highlights how drug court uses personal development, like becoming a father, as evidence of rehabilitation. This growth demonstrates the participant is internalizing the goals of the program, which can influence the judge's discretionary sentencing power.
Leave his prior employment on the 27th of this. He hasn't had any other misses since these allegations. He is looking for work. He did put out a job application yesterday. He is trying to otherwise be in compliance with the program. His struggle is with his day-to-day, him being a single parent primary. As it pertains to the misses, as he mentioned, he usually does call between 4 and 5 a.m. for his drug screenings. The other one that just was jail generally is not helpful for somebody who has substance abuse issues, substance abuse issues or other life issues. And of course, this is coming from a defense side argument, but it is generally well known that the counseling or direction with jail, it's more of a punishment sanction. Mr. Galt did want to propose 10 days work camp at 2 days per week for 5 weeks as a sanction for this, for these 2 violations. Might be fair to give him the opportunity to present some sort of a written argument for why he wants to remain in the program, how it's helped him, things of that nature, to weigh against Mr. Hamlin's court, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Dick. Mr. Galt, any comments that you wish to make?
I am grateful for this program. A lot of my no calls or missed counseling being busy is actually from this program helping me be in a better life, where I'm so focused and busy with the life I've built myself now and became a part of again, and am around my family and have my kids and have my own, that it's the little things I forget. I slept into a call, my routine got thrown off, and that's all things I need to keep remembering and figure the system out so I stop forgetting the little things, because I'm so happy with the life this program has led me to, and I just need to buckle down a little bit more. I haven't missed no more calls, and if you look at my call log,
the court is strictly balancing rehabilitation against compliance. While the defendant shows personal growth, the repeated pattern of no calls and no-shows triggers the program's disciplinary structure. This shows that even in a rehabilitative court, the core requirement of adherence to rules remains paramount to maintaining the program's integrity.
It's always 4 or 5 in the morning, every time. And the times I miss is when I don't wake up for some reason. But if you were to look at my history, I always call. Normally it's at 4:05 in the morning or right around 5. So it's just maybe I don't remember exactly what I was doing the day before, but I guess my body needed a little bit more sleep and didn't hear my alarm that day, which it's not an excuse, but it's something I need to work on. Maybe set more alarms and just be more coherent with what the little things are that I keep missing. Because like I said, this program has put me above anywhere I've ever been. And I don't want you guys to give up on me. I would like the chance to prove that I deserve to stay in this program. Like my lawyer mentioned, the work camp I proposed, just because it's something I could do to show you that I want to stay in here. Going to jail is just, like he said, a punishment kind of, but doesn't help, especially when I've been to jail and been in prison. Like I don't know how to say this correctly, but it's easy. I want something I have to do. I have to stick to prove, like, because I can just go to jail and sit there and then get out, and I don't learn that way, obviously. So
last time you were in front of me, you described it as taking a nap.
I do. They got new mats now. They got, I got money in my pocket, ready to go, ready to order store. And I'm sorry to say that, but I'm ready for that, and I don't want to do that. I want to get uncomfortable and have to go to work camp. I want to take the money I have in my pocket, ready to order store, and pay the fee for work camp instead. I like to work. I'm a hard worker.
I like what I'm hearing today. I didn't like what I heard last time. And we've gone through this process. It's the same, you're doing okay, drop off. You're okay, you drop off. And we've done that ever since I've been here. I go back and I'd love to see in the notes, there's a sanction back, I believe, with Judge Cooper in December of 24. So it was happening with him as well. Failed to report. That was in November.
The process of admitting guilt, as Mr. Galt did, is a critical juncture. By admitting the allegations, he is waiving his right to a full trial, which is governed by the fundamental protections outlined in the Sixth Amendment. This is a calculated choice that moves the focus from guilt to appropriate sanction.
November of 24, December of 24, missed counseling. March of 25, no show at Bear River. April of 25, no show at Bear River. Again, April of 25, no show. May of 25, no show. Another one in May of 25, no show. January 26, no show. February 26, 2 for today, March. I agree with you, and I hear you when you say you've never had a life as good as you've had it now. And I think you are happy with what you have now. But I can't get you to change. I can't. You're plateaued. You've leveled off. You're here. You're happy with that. And in one sense, that's a good thing. I'm glad this is the best you've ever been.
I can do better.
Yeah, that's the issue. The not. And it appears to me at this point in our relationship together that you're not willing to go further than you're at. You're happy with where you're at. This is uncharted territory for you. I told the story a couple of days ago to a coworker of my family's history. My grandfather on my mom's side was a cracker from Florida.
When a defendant argues for a specific sanction, like work camp over jail, they are essentially arguing for a rehabilitative outcome rather than purely punitive action. The judge must weigh this against the program's goals, which is why the court allows the defendant to present his case. This process aligns with the spirit of sentencing guidelines, which require courts to consider the circumstances beyond just the offense itself.
We call them up here, we call them white trash. And his family was famous. His cousins and uncles were famous for being just holy terrors in town. And there was my aunt wrote a book about it. It's called Murder on Fodderstack Knob. And it was just this story of this young man about your age who just refused to do anything different. And he was just hated in town because he wouldn't change. He did things his way. He was going to do things the way he wanted it, and it didn't matter to him if somebody else was right, wrong, or otherwise. He was going to run roughshod. They talked about him back in the days of the horses. Right? Nobody had a car. He was too poor to have a car. So he would ride his horse into the church on Sunday morning just to see everybody scream and yell. Now, I'm not saying that you're that guy, but that's the attitude, right? It's I'm going to do what I want to do, when I want to do it, how I want to do it. Now, I'm not saying that you're an evil man. My great uncle was. But I understand that mindset. I've came out of that. My grandfather literally moved from Florida to Michigan to get away from that because he didn't want his family to have to go through that anymore. And I think that you need to think about making that drastic of a change. Because at the rate that you're going here, you're in phase 4. And you're 2/3 of the way through phase 4. So I've got you for 4 months, 5 months, maybe at the most. In the last 8 or 10 months, have you really significantly changed in any way?
Judge, if I can just pause you really like, if the court's accepting, can you release those behind me so they can go to group or counseling sessions?
Yeah, Mr. Wadesky needs to stay, but everybody else is free to go. I apologize for the lateness of the hour.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Again, thank you, Judge.
I appreciate you keeping me on time and on track. All right, everybody's gone now. So the question, Mr. Galt, was in the last 8 to 10 months, have you really significantly changed anything? Tell me about that.
I'm more of a father. I'm more of a family man. I've been outside of this. I've changed so much. I know this pattern doesn't make it seem like I have, but if you ask anybody involved in my life outside of this, they'll tell you I'm a totally different person. My mom will tell you she's proud of me. My stepdad will tell you he's proud of me, and that's huge. My kids call me for stuff. I like helping them. I'm potty training the boys right now. That's kind of hell, but and before I wouldn't even give a shit, sorry. I wouldn't even care.
You're not going to offend me. I appreciate you recognize this as a courtroom. You should clean it up a little.
I'm
But
sorry.
I'm all right with that. So
I think my life out there, this program has helped me better my life out there. Now I need to give back to this program and show them that the tools are working. I do like counseling. I do like my meetings. I do like the program. I like what it's gotten me. I understand this pattern. I gotta find a way to kick this pattern. And I think, like my lawyer said, writing a letter, that will actually help me sit down and think and not just write a quick one. Actually put some thought into it. Take a couple days and write some ideas down one day, go back the next day after doing whatever I'm doing and jot a couple more things down, like while I'm working or doing family stuff, actually soak that in, because that's what this program has gave me. And I kind of, like you said, I plateaued, but I need to go back up. And I think working would do that. Work camp would do that a lot more than jail would, even if it's more days. The 10 days, I just kind of threw that out as a number. It does not matter to me how many days it is, but I would, I think, do better with that than jail, even if it's 3 or 4 days a week. You know, I just need 1 day a week because I do get the boys on Tuesdays every day. So if I could stick to that, then I could work every other day until I find a full-time job, which I have been offered a job in a couple weeks when the weather permits, building houses again. It's just with the weather so unpredictable right now, they haven't really gone to full-time status yet, so.
Well, here's what the requirements are. It says if a participant is not gainfully employed, the participant will be required to report to the Otsego County Work Camp daily.
That's fine.
Which will be verified by the county work camp and probation staff. So it's not a matter of if you're going to work. It's, you know, and here's what I'm hearing. It's not part of this sanction process. What I'm hearing is that you're not employed right now. And you haven't been employed for the last 10 days.
10 days. Well, I still tattoo, but like I said, I've been busy moving. So this past weekend I didn't work. But I know you guys don't think of that as a job, but it's one of the hardest jobs I've ever had.
It's not that I don't think of it as a job, but if you're not going there and you're not actively tattooing, yes, you're a tattooist, but that doesn't mean that you're working. It just means that you have a skill. I could say that I'm a basketball player. I'm not getting paid for it. I'm not actually on a team.
I did talk
to my driveway.
I did talk to Luke about going to a shop too. One in town, they're just waiting for the room to clear out. It used to be their office. So they're in transition of emptying it out, but
again,
it's an option.
I'm not.
Mr. Galt is arguing for sanctions that promote behavior change, which is the core philosophy of drug courts. This contrasts with traditional incarceration, which is often viewed as purely punitive. The court must balance the need for accountability with the therapeutic goals of the program, seeking a sanction that actually facilitates recovery.
Disputing that you've got abilities to go places. The question is, have you? Did you? Were you at work in the last 10 days?
I was moving, so no. I did not get paid to work in the last 10 days, no.
Okay. And when Mr. Hamlin asked you about it, you said, well, I'm going to get unemployment. That's just hear me out. And again, I'm not sanctioning you. And this, whatever we're going to do here is not about work. It's not about whether or not you have a job or could have had a job. It's just an example. And the issue for me is not whether you have a job today or not. The issue is your attitude about work. If you were trying to be the best person that you could be, and you were moving, you would also be looking for work actively. You would have connections out to people in the field. You would be dropping off resumes. You would be on Ideal, or you will be on whatever, Indeed, excuse me. You'd be doing some of those kinds of things.
I didn't hear it.
But you would also be talking to your probation officer, not about going on unemployment, but about all of the things that you were doing to get employed.
I just mentioned that because when you get unemployment, they register you with Michigan Works and also help you find a job. They email me like leads. And then I did drop an application yesterday on Indeed for a building thing, because I'm good at building also. So I did look, like I took what Luke said into account, and I guess the way I mentioned the unemployment thing came off the wrong way. And just, I'm more meant to let them know that I got an employment, so I do have an income still coming in as of now. I am, registered with Michigan Works. I do have a couple job options that are available. You know, I guess it came off the wrong way, but I do, because I like to work. I don't like not working. I can only be at home every day for so long. You get stir crazy.
Here's what my thought process has been over the last 6 months for you, Mr. Galt. It is that you are not necessarily interested in changing any more than you already have, and that you are satisfied with how your life is. In individual terms, none of those things are necessarily terrible. None of those, being satisfied with where your life is probably where most of us would like to be. But you're on a journey between sobriety and your life being out of control in the past because of failed sobriety. And there is so much more for you to do. You know Winnie the Pooh, right? You've heard of Winnie the Pooh?
Yeah.
You know who Eeyore is?
Yeah.
That's my mental picture of you. Not to call you a name or have that be a bad thing, but Eeyore's point of view is it's raining all the time. And specifically, it's raining on me all the time. And I think that you believe that that's how life is. It's just a bad thing, and you got to make the worst of it. And if you have an umbrella, you put the umbrella up, and that's as good as you're ever going to get. I want you to see life like Winnie the Pooh does. I want you to be that, hey, sunshine and honey. Life is good. There's a possibility of things happening that I don't expect that could be good, and I need to get better. And I just don't see that happening. Now, that's an overly simplistic example, all right? But I just haven't seen you do anything to get out of the doldrums. You tell me that things are going great at home, and I think that you believe that's true, but I think that they could be so much better. I think that you could have a better life. I think that your kids could be more proud of you. I think that your parents could be more proud of you. I think that you could have a better job. I think that you could do so much more here. You're in the 2/3 of the way through your phase 4. What have you done for anybody here in sobriety court?
I have let people know in the chat, like stuff I've been through, like few weeks ago when we had the storm or something and people said they couldn't make it or they were stuck or something. I chimed in and said, well, make sure or they were stuck or something. I said, make sure you let Luke know. When I was stuck and couldn't make it, I informed him. I even took pictures of the vehicle stuck and emailed it to him. I just kind of could chime in what I went through before, what they were going through. So I do when I can.
When we come together, when you guys come together in the mornings before court actually starts, do you talk?
If there's something to talk about, since he kind of took the meeting away, half the people leave now. So it's not like it used to be anymore. People just come in, listen to Luke, and then kind of leave, or just sit around and talk about anything. We don't really talk about this anymore.
But you're supposed to be the leader now. You're in phase 4. You're supposed to be the one rallying the group and bringing people together and talking to the guys that are first and second phase and getting them comfortable. And have you done any of that?
I've talked to Jake, yeah, the newest guy. Because he kind of, it was actually at the Sunday morning meetings because he went to that. Just kind of informed him, keep track of his numbers, what the recommendations are, just the intro stuff, meetings, counseling. Because he didn't know about counseling at that time, but now he does. So just did the basics, intro to people, you know, I do what I can. I'm not a talkative person, I guess.
I recognize that. The perspective that I have of other people's thoughts about you is that you don't bring anything to the group, and that quite frankly, they don't care much about you, what you do. They stay away from you. And that's unfortunate, because you've had an opportunity for the last 6 or 8 months to have an impact on people, and you've simply held to yourself and walled everybody else off. I think you can tell by the way I'm dragging this out that I am loath to just kick you out of the program, because I do believe that you have improved over what you were before you came to the program. So I don't want to stop that. I want you to improve. But I have to tell you, in the last 8 months, I can't think of any significant change, any significant impact that you've had on anybody else in this program. And I can say that your repeated sanctions has had a negative impact on, they see you repeatedly doing the same thing and having a relatively cavalier attitude about the sanctions that you're given, making comments such as, oh, why should I do anything? How do I change all that? How do I get you to be something bigger and better?
Like you said, when I'm not working, I do work camp every day. Jail's not the way. I'm gonna go downhill if that happens. So that's all up to the court, though.
Here's what I'm gonna do. You're going to write me that essay. We're gonna postpone today's sentencing, or continue today's sentencing until our next drug court meeting. You're going to write me that essay about why you should stay in the program and what changes you're going to make to yourself if you were allowed to stay in the program. So why should you stay, and what changes are you going to make? That's the first thing you're going to do. The second thing you're going to do is, if you are not actively at work for 8 hours a day, every day until you come back, Monday through Friday, every day until you come.
Judge, may I inquire when would that, it's common sense to ask for him something.
It's too late for today. Today is Tuesday, so it starts tomorrow morning. And then I'm going to see how you do at those 2 tasks. And that will go a long way to determining whether or not I simply say you stay in the program, or you, Mr. Hamlin will have a thing about all these requirements. But those 2 things are going to just help me decide whether you stay in the program or whether You need some time with Mr. Wadesky, Mr. Dick?
I think we have everything that we need.
Okay.
Present Your Honor.
How would you like to proceed with Mr. Wadesky?
So as to the allegation, so we would still ask for a hearing as it pertains to the allegations.
Mr. Hamlin, do you need some time to prepare witnesses or evidence for that, or do you want to proceed today?
Can I ask the court what allegation we're going to be going with?
Admitting it's the one where who is the one where he tested on time probably.
That's the one contesting.
No,
which one would be a hearing on?
I'm sorry, I thought you were asking for a hearing on all
of them. Well, I didn't know if the court would want to separate it, bifurcate them. That's why.
Well, we have. I'm happy to have a. If there's some that you want to plead to, we can certainly do that. And then I don't know whether or not additional, whether we need to have a hearing. So if there's 1 or 2 that he wants to plead to, Mr. Hamlin, does that make a difference to you? Whether there's 2 or there's 5?
No, it makes no difference to me, Judge. I'd just be curious which one would be a hearing.
So are there 1 or 2 that he wishes to plead to, or does he want to contest all of them?
You would contest to plead to the 322 is what you would plead to. 326, 31 would be the ones that we would ask for hearing on. However, there would be one thing that we would ask for clarification from the record. And that's because I haven't been specifically the work camp contract. My reading of it, I don't know if there's any in the file that I don't have, and I did not have an opportunity to speak with Mr. Hamlin about when I have a discussion, or if the court could provide that information.
Specifically,
So the work camp contract seems to reflect that something needs to be done immediately to meet. However, I understand that there may be some outside conversations about the work camp contract and completing the.
Mr. Hamlin, your thoughts on that?
Give me a second to get my thoughts correct here, Judge. Sorry. The work camp contract was signed and dated so that he could start making payments on his fines and costs on the case that brought him into drug court and his drug court fee of $960. Mr. Wardisky was having some troubles with work. He was having troubles paying bills. He was having troubles taking care of outside life and then to make payments on this program. We devised a plan. I showed him the work camp contract. He had time to look it over, read it over. When he came in and decided he wanted to sign on that, it was signed and dated that he would complete one Friday, I think a week, until fines and costs were paid off in full using this contract through the work camp to pay that fine off, where he would not be paying out of pocket. It would be the work camp hours are justified payment.
Right.
He hasn't done any of that contract since January, I think 16th of this year. So I've let that slip up until now, simply because we're in tax season and he's expressed that he was going to use tax money to assist in paying off on his fines and costs. He recently made a payment last week on the larceny case, but when he made the payment at the window, he didn't know he was paying on the larceny case. He only knew he was making a payment. So I thought it was appropriate to bring it to the attention of the court that, one, he hasn't done any contract negotiate or a contract requirement or a contract abided by, and two, he hasn't done or completed any of his community service per the requirement of each phase.
Does that help, Mr. Dick?
A little bit. I guess, and I suppose, yes. Don't know if that clarified anything for you. Is there anything that you want to discuss?
I was under the impression that I could use work camp to pay the fines as well as be able to pay out of pocket as well. So
we can go talk about it too. Could just, Judge, I don't know if you want him to.
No, I don't want him to explain it yet. I want him to make sure that he's got his issues he's talked through with you first. So if you need some additional time, we'll take some additional time.
I think we should have that.
Mr. Dick, how would you like to proceed with Mr. Wodesky?
Your Honor, after a conversation with Mr. Wodesky and briefly discussing it with Mr. Hamlin, we would like to request a adjournment of the actual hearing for this matter to the next. We want to see if we can address a couple of these issues. Perhaps that changes what Mr. Hamlin's presenting to the court as.
That would be on the 28th, Judge.
Yeah, I think that's appropriate, Mr. Dick and Mr. Wodesky. I don't want you to be rushed in going through this process. I want to make sure that you can understand it and that you have all the details worked out. If you can do that, if we can't, we'll address that in the future. But I don't want you to miss out on anything that you could have done or should have done ahead of time. So I want to give you every opportunity. We will continue today's proceedings to the 28th, down a little bit better from there. So we'll adjourn the matter and then we'll readdress it.
Takes you about 5 minutes to get there.
Thank you for being here. Appreciate your help.
Good day, Your Honor.
You too.
The probation staff is laying out a pattern of violations to the court. This detailed record keeping is crucial because the court needs a clear picture of the participant's compliance history to impose an appropriate sanction. This documentation allows the judge to make a finding of fact about whether the participant has demonstrated sustained effort in the program.